There are millions of Uber drivers out there giving rides each and every single day, but depending on who you talk to, you might hear wildly different numbers when it comes to just how much you can make as an Uber driver. So in this video, I'm going to break down what the average is and what you can do to actually earn more money as an Uber driver. Now, the first caveat is that it'll really depend a lot on the market that you're driving in, the type of vehicle you're driving in, and even how good of a driver you are. Believe it or not, better drivers actually make more money. I'm Harry with the Rideshare Guy, and I've actually been driving for Uber since 2014. That makes me pretty old in rideshare years. Most people don't make it that long, but I'm here to teach you just how much drivers are making and how you can actually make more money as an Uber driver. Let's talk about how pay works as an Uber driver first. Typically, the longer the trip is based on miles and time, the more you're going to make, right? So longer trips pay more, shorter trips pay less. Pretty simple, right? You might also get surge pricing, which is basically when riders have to pay more because there's either high demand or low supply of drivers. And then the final piece of the pay is bonus pay. Now, this is something that Uber uses to incentivize drivers to go out during certain times or certain places. And then for new Uber drivers, the company will actually offer bonuses in the form of guaranteed earnings. So let's say you sign up to drive for Uber, they might offer you $2,000 during your first 200 trips. So they're basically guaranteeing that you'll earn $10 a trip. Not a bad deal for a new driver. Like a lot of other services in the gig economy, Uber pays a weekly direct deposit, but they have a really popular feature called Instant Pay. I love Instant Pay because it actually allows you to cash out, like the name would imply, at the end of every trip. You could cash out at the end of the day. You don't have to wait for that weekly direct deposit. And if you sign up for Uber's debit card for drivers, you'll actually be able to make all those cash outs whenever you want for free. All right, so now for the juicy stuff. How much do Uber drivers actually make? So from talking to thousands of drivers and surveying thousands of drivers and personal experience, we found that Uber drivers make about $20 to $30 per hour before expenses. So how do you make the most amount of money as an Uber driver? Well, the city that you're driving in really makes a lot of difference, right? The bigger markets tend to be busier, they tend to have more surge pricing, and they tend to have more demand. In places like San Francisco, we know drivers come from far and wide. They'll drive an hour or 2 hours just into the city because they know that earnings are extremely elevated compared to their hometowns, right? So these are all factors that you want to consider when you're thinking about when and where to drive. As an Uber driver, you basically get paid the most amount of money when you have a passenger in your car and your wheels are moving, right? So you really want to minimize any downtime. Let's say you're waiting for a passenger to come outside, or even if you're waiting for a request, you're not paid much or anything at all during those time periods. So you want to drive when it's busy, and you really want to look for requests, especially during busy times that are 3 to 5 minutes away as a driver, right? That's all downtime, unpaid. So the quicker you can get to your customer, the quicker they can come outside, that's actually going to increase your hourly earnings as an Uber driver. And the final thing that you want to remember is drivers are responsible for their own expenses. So if you're going to be a full-time driver and putting 1,000 miles a week on your car or more, you're really going to want a reliable and efficient car that gets great miles per gallon. Most people driving for Uber are part-time. So if you're going to work about 10 hours a week, you could probably expect to make $200 to $300 a week. So it may not be enough to pay all the bills, but it's definitely some nice side income. If you're going to go the full-time route, drive 40 to 50 hours a week, I think a good goal is about $1,000 a week before expenses, and that should put you comfortably right in the averages. But remember, you don't want to be just average. There are a lot of ways that you can make additional money that we've talked about. One of the things that I love about driving for Uber is that it's so easy to sign up and get started. You know, you can really be out there making money in no time, right? We talked about how the average driver earns about $20 to $30 per hour before expenses, but if you use a lot of the tips that we've taught you here at the Rideshare Guy today, I think you'll be above and beyond that in no time. So get out there, sign up for Uber, and let us know how it goes.